Hi, hello, once again I welcome you all for BKMC. In this video we are going to deal with nucleophilic substitution reaction. What is nucleophilic substitution reactions? Letting out one weak nucleophile and getting one strong nucleophile into the molecule is known as nucleophilic substitution chemical reaction. So before going to know which one is strong nucleophile and which one is weak nucleophile, we must know what is nucleophile. Nucleophile means nucleus loving group. So what is a nucleus? Who is going to love this nucleus? We know about nucleus, it contains one neutron and one proton. Neutron has no charges on it, but proton has one positive charge on it. So positively charged proton will be loved by negatively charged electron. So wherever we find excess electron, those center we can be called as nucleophilic center, and those molecules can be classified as nucleophiles. The first example, all simple anions can be classified as nucleophiles because the negative charge implies on anions it contains only excess electrons. So if it has two negative charges, that atom contains two excess electrons. In this way, we can consider all the simple anions as nucleophiles. The second one, when we met the neutral molecules such as ammonia and water molecules, we must hear about the concept of lone pair electrons. So in a water molecule, oxygen contains two lone pair. In a ammonia molecule, nitrogen contains one lone pair electron. And the same way, hydrogen chloride molecules contains the chlorine atom three lone pairs. So those kind of non-bonding lone pair also considered as excess electrons. So these kind of molecules also can be classified as nucleophiles. Apart from this, we must hear about the multiple bondings like double bonds and triple bonds. So these double bond or triple bond kind of things also can be classified as nucleophiles, and those centers are called as nucleophilic centers, because for formation of one bond between two atoms, just two electron is more than sufficient. So in this double bonds it contains 4 electrons, and triple bonds it contains 6 electrons. So wherever we find the excess electrons, all such molecules can be classified as nucleophiles. So in this way we can have a different format, but all are containing excess electrons. So all these things are classified as nucleophiles. So ultimately the nucleophile means electron rich species are considered as nucleophiles. In the same way, what is electrophile? Electrophile means electron loving group. So electron loving groups, electron is negatively charged, so positively charged species will be loved by electrons. So all the positively charged cations can be considered as electrophiles. So apart from this, all the cations, the molecules the molecule which contains two different electronegative atom with a large electronegativity difference, so those kind of molecules can be classified as a electrophilic center, because that high electronegative atom will bear the partial negative charge and less electronegative atom will bear the partial positive charge. So it is not needed to have complete positive charge. Even if it has partial positive charge, then also it can be classified as an electrophilic center. So molecules such as carbon halogen bond, carbon oxygen bond, carbon sulfur and sulfur oxygen bond, in this kind of bond halogen atom contains large electronegative and carbon has less electronegative. So in this kind of bonding, halogen atom will have partial negative charge and carbon will have partial positive charge. In carbon oxygen bond, oxygen will have partial negative charge and carbon will have partial positive charge. So this kind of partial positive charge also can be classified as an electrophilic center, because of partial electron deficiency in this kind of molecules appears. So apart from this, there is one more variety molecules like boron trihalides. It contains only 3 bonds around the boron atom. So 3 bond means it contains only 6 electrons in its valence orbitals. So according to octet rules, that valence electron of atom must contains 8 electrons. So in this kind of molecules contains less than 8 electrons. So in boron halide it contains only 6 electrons. So it needed 2 more electrons to complete its octet cells. So based on this octet rule, the BX3 kind of molecule also can be classified as electron loving group electrophiles. So ultimately nucleophile means electron rich group, electrophile means electron poor group. So nucleophile can be either negatively charged or neutral. The same way electrophile can be either positive charge or it can be neutral also. So in this 2:2 ratio, we can have 4 types of nucleophilic substitution reaction. In type 1, the electrophile can be neutral and nucleophile can be negatively charged. In type 2, both can be neutral. In type 3, the electrophile can be positively charged and the nucleophile can be negatively charged. The fourth type, electrophile can be positively charged and the nucleophile can be neutral. Therefore, we must keep in our mind nucleophile can be negatively charged and neutral. Electrophile can be positively charged and neutral. At any cost, nucleophiles will not be a positively charged and electrophile cannot be a negatively charged one. So let's go to its mechanism. As I said, in SN reaction, one strong nucleophile has to come in and one weak nucleophile has to get out. So this process can happen in two different ways. Type 1, both incoming nucleophile and leaving group can happen at simultaneously. In type 2, it can happen stepwise. The first step, the leaving group may leave to form a carbocation. In the second step, the formed carbocation can be attracted by nucleophile. The first step, formation of carbocation, is very slow and hence it is a rate determining step. Why it is a very slow step means without any driving force the molecule has to leave a negatively charged species and it has to form positively charged carbocation. So it is a very slow step process. So in a multi-step reaction, which step is a very slow, that step will be considered as a rate determining step. So in this reaction we have only two steps. So among these two steps the formation of carbocation is very slow. Therefore the formation of carbocation step is considered as a rate determining step. The second step is attacking of nucleophile. This attacking of nucleophile is a very fast because carbocation is positively charged electron deficient species. Nucleophile is electron rich species. So opposite charge attract each other. So here the driving forces is opposite charge attraction. So the second step is fast and it forms a desired product. So in this rate determining step, only one molecule is involving. So though it contains two molecules per reaction, one is electrophile and another one is a nucleophile. In rate determining step, only electrophile involves and nucleophile does not involve. So how many molecules involved in rate determining step will be considered as the molecularity of the reaction. For this kind of mechanism, this reaction considered as SN1 mechanism. The one means unimolecularity of the reaction. Substitution, nucleophilic unimolecularity of the reaction. Though reaction happens between two molecules, in rate determining step only one molecule is involving. That is why this type of mechanism is considered as SN1 mechanism. The opposite way here, both nucleophile and leaving group happens at simultaneously. So it is a one-step process. In one-step process, though it may be slow or fast, we have to consider this step as a rate determining step. So in rate determining step, two molecules are involving. One is electrophile and another one is nucleophile. So for this kind of mechanism, it will be considered as SN2 mechanism, which means it is a bimolecular reaction. Substitution, nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. So in a rate determining step, two molecules is involving. That is why it is a bimolecular reaction. Here in rate determining step, only one molecule is involving. That is why it is a SN1 mechanism. So next we see the energy profile diagram for this mechanism. Energy profile diagram is a graphical representation of progression of reaction with energy change. X-axis will contain from substrate to product including all the transition state and intermediates available. Y-axis will display the energy of corresponding each species. For SN2 mechanism, we know both nucleophile and electrophile interacts together to form a product. For SN2 mechanism, energy profile diagram is starting material interact each other to reach higher energy transition state. Finally, it dissociates into our desired product. For thermodynamic favorism, the product must be in lesser energy and the starting substrate in higher energy. If it is in vice versa, the reaction will proceed towards backside. Backward reaction will occur. For thermodynamic favorism, product must contain lesser energy and starting material must be in higher energy. For kinetic favorism, this transition state must be in lower energy. If it is in higher energy, the reaction will proceed very slow. For kinetic favorism, transition state energy must be low. For thermodynamic favorism, product energy must be in low. For SN1 mechanism, we know that it is two-step process. The first step is formation of carbocation. The second step is attacking of nucleophile. So for reaching the carbocation intermediate, the starting substrate must cross through one transition state, and then the formed carbocation it has to interact with nucleophile to form a desired product. This carbocation also has to cross through one transition state to form a desired product. For one intermediate, it has to have two transition state. In example, if they ask if you have 2-3 intermediates, what will be your number of transition state? Means for 2 intermediates, it has to cross through 3 transition state. For 3 intermediate, it has to cross through 4 transition state. So the number of transition state will be the number of intermediates plus 1. So we have to keep it in our mind. For thermodynamic favorism, the product must be in lower energy. For kinetic favorism, the transition state must be in lower in energy. Okay, then we move to the kinetics of this reaction. In kinetics, we look at the order of the reaction. Already we come through molecularity of the reaction. Molecularity of the reaction is a theoretical one, but the kinetics order of the reaction is an experimental one. For finding out order of the reaction, we must perform some experiment. So in this SN reaction, we have both nucleophile and electrophile. So in a experiment, we should keep concentration of one species constant. For example, in graph 1, they kept constant concentration of nucleophile, then they varied the concentration of electrophile, and then they observed the corresponding rate of the reaction. So when they change the concentration of electrophile, they observed the variation of rate. So it means the rate of the reaction depends on electrophile. So the next experiment, we need to keep the concentration of electrophile constant, and then we have to vary the concentration of nucleophile, and then again we have to observe the changes in rate. So here also the change in rate occurs. So it means the SN reaction depends on both electrophile and nucleophiles. So rate equation is rate is directly proportional to both electrophile and nucleophile. So with respect to electrophile, it is a first order reaction, and also with respect to nucleophile, also it is a first order reaction. So overall, the order of the reaction is second order reaction. For SN1 mechanism, we do the same experimental. For first variation of electrophile with constant nucleophile, it gives the variation of rate as we expected. But when we do the experimental with constant concentration of electrophile and we try to change the concentration of nucleophile, the reaction rate remains as same. So it does not change any rate. Even if we use 10 mole of nucleophile and 20 mole of nucleophile, it does not change. So it means the rate of the reaction depends only on electrophile and it is not depend on concentration of nucleophile. From this reaction experiment, we confirm that SN1 mechanism follows first order reaction, and the rate of the reaction with respect to electrophile is a first order reaction, and rate of the reaction with respect to nucleophile, it is a zero order reaction. So net order of the reaction for the entire reaction is a first order reaction in the SN1 mechanism and second order reaction in the SN2 mechanism. So for keeping in mind, for exam point of view, it is very simple that bimolecular reaction follows second order reaction and unimolecular reaction follows the first order reaction, but it is not necessary to be the same always for all reactions. So it can be vary. For second order reaction, it may be unimolecular reaction, or a bimolecular reaction can be a first order reaction in anyhow. But for this SN reaction, only for this SN reaction, bimolecular reaction follows second order reaction and unimolecular mechanism follows the first order reaction. Okay, then we move to the stereochemistry of this outcome product. In stereochemistry, suppose if we take our substrate optically active one, so that is a S isomer or R isomer. Here we are taking alkyl halide. So if this carbon contains 4 different groups, it is an optically active one. So we can have both R isomer or S isomers. So in SN1 mechanism, if we take one optically pure active molecule, either it can be R isomer or S isomer, we know that mechanism it proceeds through formation of carbocation. We know that carbocation structure, it is a planar one. The planar one, the incoming nucleophile can be attacked either through the above the plane or through the below the plane. So it has 50-50 chances to attack in both sides. So if it attacks happen on one side, it will produce one isomer. The attack in opposite side will produce an opposite isomer. So the final outcome product will contain a Racibie mixture product. So the Racibie mixture is optically inactive because the 50% of product will rotate the optical light one side. The remaining opposite isomer will rotate the optical light in opposite direction. So the net value will be optically inactive. Though we take pure optically pure R isomer or S isomer, the outcome of our product will be racemic mixture optically inactive one. In SN2 mechanism, we know it is a single step process. In single step process, the incoming nucleophile attacks through backside and leaving group leaves. So the geometry is inverted. So if we take R isomer, then we will get S isomer. If we start through R isomer, we will end through S isomer, and vice versa. So in SN2 mechanism, you will get optically active product for optically active substrate, but opposite isomer. So in stereochemistry, SN1 mechanism will produce optically inactive racemic mixture. In SN2 mechanism, we will get optically active inverted alkyl. Then look on the reaction influence factors. In SN1 reaction, it depends on both leaving group ability and the carbon skeleton, because the formation of carbocation is favorable only when the leaving group is a better leaving group, and then the carbon skeleton is a tertiary one, because tertiary carbocation is more stable and primary carbocation is less stable. Like that, in SN2 mechanism, the carbon skeleton must be sterically free and the leaving group will be the better leaving group. Then only that incoming nucleophile can attack easily, the leaving group can leave easily. Also, nucleophile must be strong enough to attack the electrophilic carbon. So these kind of factors are influencing the reaction rate. So we'll look on these influence factors one by one next video. Apart from this, solvent influence the reaction very much. So we have to consider the solvent effect also. And also there is one more concept called neighboring group participation or enantiomer assistance, that is much more important for S1 reactions. So we'll look all these reaction influence factors in forthcoming videos. And then we will discuss some questions from these SN reactions. So keep watching and subscribe my channel as you like. Thank you. Bye.